this sim called Stanley Humphrey that I usually refer to as my weenie sim. He sort of looks like he's just a guy in a hot dog costume, but in my mind, he is a hot dog. Like, I kind of think of him as being a hot dog occult type, and I usually use him for like playtesting or experimenting with money-making schemes in The Sims. And I put this guy through a lot, okay? He's usually living on an empty lot, he's getting rained on, sometimes he gets struck by lightning, he never has a house or a bed or even like a fridge to cook food with. Half the time he's basically living in a bush and using it as a toilet and a place to sleep. If he's lucky, he can shower in the rain. What I'm trying to say is that Stanley Humphrey has been through it, and I feel like I owe him something. So the goal today is to try and build something nice for Stanley for once, and I want to try to use this hot dog theme and maybe try to build some sort of sandwich shop, hot dog shop. The idea is Stanley Humphrey's Raps to Witches sandwich shop. Like rags to riches, except it's wraps and sandwiches. I know it's kind of dumb, but I think it could be fun. And I think kind of dumb, but still fun is the perfect way to describe the whole thing about Stanley Humphrey. So let's go ahead and dive straight into the speed build, and I'll walk you through what I built for this one today. The idea is pretty simple. I just want a sandwich shop that kind of looks like a diner almost. I'm actually building this in Strangerville, believe it or not. This is the lot where the bar usually is in Strangerville. I bulldozed that and I built this here instead. I think that this might cause some problems for you if you tried to play with Strangerville, because I think you technically need to have a bar to do the gameplay. You have to talk to military people with that pack to play with the pack, and they gather at the bar. So without the bar, you might have a hard time. But I don't ever play with Strangerville, so I kind of think let's just forget that and make something more useful here. I really liked the idea of making this in Strangerville just to give me more of a reason to come and visit this world. It does have a couple of community lots. It has a library too, but I just don't ever come here. But now that Stanley has a restaurant here, there's more of an excuse to come and visit it. The exterior of this building is honestly very simple. It's kind of just like a small rectangle. It's very small too. It has a small indoor dining room. It's got a little kitchen. It's got one bathroom with one toilet stall. It does have a couple of bits of outdoor seating. And then I had what I thought was a really fun idea to go in and try and add in a fake drive-through. If you look at the back of this lot, there's kind of like fake parking back there. I think that technically those parking spaces are supposed to be in the back, like way behind the lot, but I used those parking stops and I put some debug cars in front of them, so it kind of looks like there's parking back behind the building. And then I put a drive-through window on the side, and I tried to put some like tire tracks so it looks like you're driving down to the right, ordering at the window, and then going back out behind the rest of the building. I've never tried to make a drive-through window in The Sims 4 before. Obviously it's fake, like you can't actually use it. It just looks kind of interesting. The cars are all fake too, but I think it helps to sell the story a little bit more. And I should probably address the elephant in the room. The giant hot dog that I just put on top of the building. This was a very controversial choice, okay? I built this first live on my Twitch channel, so we had a lot of input from the community live as we were building this, and kind of my original vision was to have a giant hot dog on top, or even like to have the building be shaped like a hot dog. I just didn't really know how to make that work in a way that didn't seem ridiculous, and so for a while there, I was trying to have the giant hot dog on the roof. It's actually a hot dog from the vending machines in either High School Years or Snowy Escape. I'm not sure which one it came from, but it's supposed to be little teeny tiny like a hot dog your Sims can eat. So when you size it up this big, the textures are not good. The quality looks really weird. It's very boxy. It just is looking really strange. And so I tried to put it on the roof, but I think we all kind of decided that it wasn't good and we shouldn't keep it. There were some polarizing opinions, but the majority was team no hot dog. I don't know what the YouTube community is gonna think about this, but I only had it there for a bit and then I said, you know what, it's too much, we have to stop. What I decided to do instead was put that giant hot dog in the back on top of one of those cars parked in the parking lot. We kind of liked the idea of pretending that it was like a delivery truck for the restaurant. So there's not a whole weenie building, but there is a weenie car. And we've got the hot dog back there instead on top of the van. I don't remember how long the giant hot dog stays on top of the building in this speed build, so just trust the process, okay? Just trust me, it's gonna work out, it's gonna be fine. You can kind of see more of the vibes coming together now. We do have like a fancy diner sign out in the front. I really wish that there was a hot dog sign. There's a base game diner sign that has kind of like hot dog colors with the ketchup and mustard, and it has a burger and fries kind of on it. So I used that instead. It wasn't really what I wanted. I wish that we had more hot dog memorabilia, but I did what I could with what we had. I did use this little menu board from the base game, and there is a visible hot dog on that. There's like a hot dog and a burger on the right side, so I put both of those there. I found a few things doing this that I thought were really interesting. We have this bright red and yellow picnic table. I think it comes from the toddler pack. I completely forgot that even existed, so I used that one here, and it kind of fits the vibes. I also put some kind of cute flags on the wall behind where we have the menu board. I was kind of trying to give it that diner vibe the best that I could. I'm not really an expert in hot dog restaurants, so there was a lot of trial and error and imagination being used with this one. We had to get kind of creative. I'll show you the menu at the end because I thought about having it be just a hot dog restaurant that like only serves hot dogs and their whole menu is just like a veggie dog and a regular hot dog. But then I thought it was kind of sad and it wasn't as interesting as I wanted it to be. So I went through and I tried to add in a couple of other sandwich types instead. And then we had the genius wraps to witches idea, and that was it. We finally figured it out. That was actually a call out from chat. So there are some geniuses over there on Twitch. It's kind of fun doing this sort of thing live because obviously with the YouTube comments, we do get to make jokes like that and have feedback, but it's delayed. I make the video and then you can comment on it, but when it's live, we can be bantering back and forth and coming up with those things all at once. I stream on Twitch literally every single day, so I'm gonna link my Twitch channel down below in case you want to go and watch it. This is actually a really good time to follow us on Twitch because I'm doing a huge fundraiser for the whole month of May over there. And tomorrow I'm actually going to visit St. Jude in person. So we do this big fundraiser every May for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and tomorrow they've invited me to fly up to Memphis and do a stream from the hospital. I'm actually really nervous about it, but we have some kind of fun stuff planned. We're gonna do a Sims Jeopardy game, and my parents are coming. They're gonna play with us. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know if it was fun. And if it works out nicely, I'll probably make a YouTube video about it and like cut down the Jeopardy game into a real YouTube video. But if you want to watch that live, my name is just lilsimsie on Twitch. I'll link that down below for you. And I'll stop plugging it now, okay? I just had to get that mention in there. I want to walk you through the shape of the building a little bit more because it is kind of tight over here. You can see that very skinny pathway in between the parking lot and the building. That's where, in my mind, the cars go around the drive-thru. In real life, you probably need a bit more space, but in this, that's what you've got to work with. I also put a dumpster set up in the back. I actually used two dumpsters. We have a red and a yellow one, kind of fit in the ketchup and mustard vibe. And then I tried my best to put a little bit of terrain paint down and see if we could mark out things that looked like tire tracks. It was hard for me to know how dark to make it, but I think it looks okay how it is. I also immediately regretted doing that as soon as I had finished it because it looks like it took me like 2 seconds in the speed build, but it actually took me a while in real time to figure out how to place it. And as we all know, there's a massive terrain paint bug where when you reload lots, it oftentimes deletes your terrain paint. The hot dog's back? Oh my god. Okay, the hot dog's back apparently. We'll see how long that lasts. But the terrain paint bug, it is a common one and a very frustrating one. And so I've taught myself to do terrain paint absolutely last thing. And I didn't follow my own rule with this build, so I was very scared it was gonna get deleted. But miraculously, we had no bugs this time. I don't know what happened, but this time we had no issues. Well, I do know what happened. It usually only breaks when you reload the lot. And I did reload the lot. You'll see at a certain point, I go and get Nancy Landgrab and I have her painting portraits of Stanley because I wanted to put some photos of him inside of the building, but not just pictures. I wanted like paintings, artwork. So I had to go get Nancy and paint. And then as soon as I left the lot to get Nancy, I was like, no. I've reloaded. It's gonna break my terrain paint. But it didn't. It was still there. A couple other cute things I put in the back. I decided to add a bike rack back there. We have a debug bike rack that's actually from the new For Rent pack. It's kind of hard to find. You have to dig around for it a lot, but I put that up in the front and then I put a couple of bikes there, a kid's bike and an adult's bike. We have some things like an open sign, and then I was trying to figure out paint colors. I didn't really know how to do that on the outside. I decided that I wanted it to be a lot of brick because I thought that kind of fit the vibes, but then I found this sort of cute yellow yellow metal paneling from Eco Lifestyle, and so I used that as an accent color. There's a lot of red happening with the awnings and stuff, so I think the yellow helps to break it up. And then I put a couple things like some AC units and some vents on the roof. I struggled a lot with what color to make the roof because I wanted it to be gravel, but I wish that we had a slightly more, it's almost like a beigey brown colored gravel that we have on the outside. I wanted to match the color of the floor in Strangerville, but none of the gravels that we had were red toned, so I couldn't really do one that fit. I think it doesn't look bad. I just wish that it was a slightly different shade of gravel, which is a silly thing to complain about. We're going on the inside now to work on the bathroom, and it's kind of a big bathroom, but it doesn't have a lot of stuff in it. It has a toilet and a sink, just the one toilet stall, and I also ended up putting a changing table in there. It's so funny because whenever I build these community lots, I always like to put changing tables now that we have them, just for realism, because in real life that would be so nice to have. But in The Sims, I have no need for that. I just don't. I will never, ever, ever bring an infant here in The Sims 4. I know that for a fact. I don't bring my Sims infants anywhere with me. And I don't really bother with toddler diaper changes on these changing tables either. Maybe I should make more of an effort to do that. Maybe that should be my next goal, is when my Sims have a kid again, I should try and take them out of the house. Try and bring the baby somewhere just to see how it goes. So we're moving on to the interior now, finally, to start thinking about this indoor dining space. It's really not very big. You'll see that I went through a couple different iterations of ideas. I kind of liked the idea of having booth seating because I think in real life you might find that, but the booths from Dine Out are just way too big. It didn't really work. And then I thought about putting a bar in here because I kind of liked the idea of some bar seating, but that was also too big. It didn't really fit. So I just went back to tables. It ends up just being tables. It kind of has that same ketchup and mustard color scheme. I should clarify because some people in my Twitch chat thought that I was trying to do McDonald's. That is not my intention. I realize now that they are yellow and red also, but I feel like Stanley Humphrey has more of a claim to the red and yellow color scheme than McDonald's does. They don't get to have a monopoly on that. Stanley gets it too. We don't like them. And we like Stanley, so he can have it. I did find a couple of other kind of cool things in build mode when I was doing this. I found this really fun jukebox from Strangerville to add in. I got this really fun hot dog painting. So there's this giant hot dog painting that's actually base game. And what I did was put it on top of a counter by the front door. And I ended up trying to make this look like it's a pickup counter. So I went digging in Debug and I found these food delivery bags because that food app Zoomers or whatever it's called, they have a delivery bag that the food delivery drivers bring to your house. And so I got a couple of those out of Debug and I put them on the counter because I liked the idea of there being a section to come pick up your order inside if you bought online. Obviously your Sims can't actually use that. It's just a fake Debug thing, but it looks kind of fun and realistic. I struggled a lot with the color scheme of the inside. You'll see me do a lot of back and forth with the flooring and with the wallpaper and the different colors in here. We thought about trying to use a checkered floor to sort of fit that diner vibe. I didn't really like how the marble ones looked and like all the color textures were just too much. I ended up settling for a linoleum because there's this kind of nice patterned linoleum from the bowling pack, believe it or not. It's just a plain beige color, but I think it looks good in there. And I think linoleum is realistic and makes sense. The kitchen, I think, is one of my favorite parts of the building. It's actually quite big and there's two cooktops in here. One of them has a window that faces the outside. I was kind of trying to pretend that your Sims could pick up food from that window. That's not really how Dine Out works. You have to sit down at the restaurant and have a waiter bring it to you. But I think in real life, this probably would be a pickup window sort of place. So I put the window as if you could order and get your food from it. And then I tried to decorate around the drive-through window. And so I tried to put a cash register and like a TV for the orders to be on the screen. And I put that in front of the window too. And I was just pretending your Sims could run it and work the drive-through. Again, completely fake. Nobody can use that. It's purely decorative, but I just think it's kind of fun. And hopefully it won't be too much in your Sims way because it's not that big, so it shouldn't be like blocking anybody. We have things like a sink and a fire hydrant in there, fire extinguisher. Not a fire hydrant. Some people in my Twitch chat suggested that I use the TV screen from Strangerville, so I tried that, but the Strangerville TV screen, it has like creepy scans on it. Like it did not work. There is a stock ticker in the base game, and I put that over the window because it fit. It was the exact same size, and I thought it looked kind of like it could have orders on it. I was really making do with what we had, okay? We don't have a ton of items for this in the game, but I tried to make it work. You can kind of see the color scheme come in together a little bit more in the dining room. It definitely needs some work, and I'm serious, I went back and forth on wallpaper colors so much. I could not decide what to use in there. I was kind of stalling, if I'm being honest. The whole Zoomers idea came from me stalling, just trying to like hold off on having to figure out what color to paint the walls. So I was like, oh, here, let's do a food delivery bag. And then I found some kind of cute little signs. There's like a price sign from Get to Work. At least I think it's supposed to be a price sign. I'm trying to pretend that it says pick up orders here, and I put an arrow on the wall. We want to make it very obvious to customers where to go in and pick up your stuff. You can see that ginormous thing, the jukebox that I was talking about. Now I finally have that in there. I have some trash cans. We have some storage. Considering how small this is, it really should not have taken me as long as it did. I just was going back and forth all the time. I did find a couple of extra cute neon signs. We have a little plant in the corner. I really like how there's a back door as well, because I feel like in places like this, you would totally come in from the back. The parking lot's in the back. Oh, and the other thing, my Twitch chat was suggesting a lot that we should put a mannequin that was wearing the hot dog costume in here. So I thought about trying to do that, but I decided that it looked really weird because I don't know if I want to have like a person in a hot dog costume. I want to have a giant hot dog statue. And I think the mannequin having a face, it kind of throws you. At least that's how I felt about it. I don't know if you agree. So I ultimately decided against adding the hot dog mannequin. And that's why I went through and got Stanley Humphrey and like painted him and put a picture of him instead. So where that Strangerville picture goes is where my Stanley one's gonna replace it. I'll show you a full tour of the build and kind of point out some of my ideas that I had. I also thought about putting a couple of like little signs on the wall. My initial thought was trying to pretend that they were health inspector signs. I wanted to have like the inspection rating, but then some of my chat was saying how it's cute because it looks like it's their first dollar or something, and I think that fits Stanley's vibe. If anybody's gonna display their first dollar, it's the rags to riches guy. Like, he's totally gonna do that. So he's got his health inspection and his first dollar up on the wall, and now we're cutting in to paint Stanley. I left this part of the video in so you could see it. I got like some markers on the floor. I teleported Stanley in. I had Nancy painting him. We were trying to make this little paint by reference so that I could put it on the wall. This is so dumb. I know it's dumb, but I think it was worth it. And it doesn't count as CC or anything. Sometimes on the gallery, you have some issues with stuff like that where the game gets kind of confused by photos and by paintings, and it marks the gallery thing as having custom content, but this one wasn't bugged like that. I used the party wall from the new Party Essentials kit, and I put Stanley hung up on the wall next to it, and I just thought that was perfect. That was exactly what this build needed. It was a perfect finishing touch. I like how chaotic it is in here. I like how tight it is in here. I think that this is what Stanley would have wanted. And with that, we are just about done with the full build. We're doing a couple last minute touches. The whole place is complete, and I want to pop back into the game now and show you a tour of the finished product. So like I was saying, I built this in Strangerville. It's actually on this lot where the 8 Bells bar normally is. Let me just bulldoze this one because nobody wants to look at this anymore. And if you're looking for it on the gallery, it's called Stanley's Raps to Witches. I gotta be honest, this gallery photo looks really good. You know how sometimes the gallery images look terrible by default and you can't really change it? This looks good. The lighting's good, the colors are good. It costs like 41,000 simoleons. It's 20 by 20 lot, and it uses way too many packs considering how small it is. And this is what it looks like from the outside. So when you first walk up, you can park your bike out front. This is where you can talk to the host and get your table. There are 2 tables outside, and these do work as tables, so you can sit out here if you want to at the restaurant. What I mean by that is you might not think a picnic table would work with the restaurant functionality, but it does. If you wanted to order out instead, you could drive up this way. You can order at the window, at the drive-through window. I've got a menu and stuff. And then you can drive around the back and exit out the lot like this to get out the other side. Or you could come park back here if you really wanted to. Some people in my Twitch chat were saying, oh, my hot dog's gone. No! No, this is a disaster. Hold on. How did I not notice that it deleted itself? You saw it. It was in the video. I can't believe this has happened to me. That is my hot dog truck. But some people in my chat were saying how there isn't enough space here for this to be the drive-through. Because like if there was a line, it would come out onto the road. But I don't think that this place is very busy. First of all, there's no cars in The Sims 4. So nobody is gonna be driving through the drive-thru. But also, I don't know, I think it's like a small town restaurant. There aren't too many people that come here, so it's okay. They don't have a big line backlog normally. If you wanted to, in my mind, you could just walk up to the window and order here as well. Obviously, you can't do that in The Sims, but in our story, you can. And when you come inside, we have like a little open sign on the front door. When you first walk in, you can pick up your order if you pre-order online. You can come sit in here. We've got a jukebox, another menu, Stanley's on the wall. We have our first simoleon. We've got a pride flag. This is the employee space, so you can walk in here. They've got all of their dishes and stuff. Is that a dead fish? I swear I've never noticed that before. In all my years playing Dine Out, never seen that. Anyway, this is the kitchen. Fire alarm, fire extinguisher. There's a drain on the floor. I think this part looks kind of cool. I hope that it looks at least somewhat reasonable with what we can do in The Sims. And then on this side, we have the bathroom. Super small, nothing too fancy in there. There are a couple of dumpsters outside. Oh my God. There were some lighting glitches in my defense. That was the right color originally. And then I must have messed it up because the lighting was bugged. Ignore that too. But if you wanted to, you could come woohoo in these dumpsters. You've got plenty of options. And I want to show you the menu really quickly. So I did dress up the entire staff in hot dog costumes. The chefs, the waiters, the hosts, everybody's wearing a hot dog suit. And this is the custom menu that I made. I tried to be very intentional about what I was putting on this menu. I wanted it to seem like diner food, but also like maybe Stanley is making sandwiches and they outsource a lot of other stuff. So they sell canned soda. For dessert, he buys a bunch of donuts from like Dunkin' and he resells them at his restaurant. He is an entrepreneur, okay? He is buying donuts and then reselling them for an $8 upcharge. For appetizers, I tried to have it be kind of like a kid's menu, but also to have things like French fries and chips. I put the pepperoni pizza and the veggie pizza roll-ups because I thought that kind of fit the wrap idea. And of course a corn dog because it's a hot dog shop. And then the main courses are just sandwiches. So there's like ham and cheese sandwich, peanut butter and jelly. We got grilled cheese. There's some burgers, a couple of different hot dogs. There's even a tortilla wrapped veggie dog, which dare I say maybe fits the theme a little bit too well with the hot dogs and the wraps. And they have a few different kinds of burritos too. So I thought it was nice. It's not the most complicated menu. It's not only hot dogs, but I like how it's a sandwich shop altogether. And that is the fully finished Stanley Humphrey Wraps to Witches sandwich shop. This is a little bit different for me. I don't usually build community lots very often. I don't think I'm very good at them. This one is very simple. It's very small, but I think it's silly and I think it's kind of cute. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to pop by my Twitch streams, I'm going to link them down below so you can come hang out with us. And if you missed them live, I actually always post all of my streams on my second channel called lilsimsie, so you can watch the videos back after the fact if you wanted to. That is, of course, also linked down below. And on that note, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to head out. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm going to catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye, everybody. Oh my gosh, and wish me luck for the stream tomorrow from the hospital. I'm so excited, but I'm also terrified, and I think that's reasonable.